Welcome back to the Chow Time Pod. It's your host Red. I got a video today from TikTok. Passport Bros. We live rent free in a lot of these women's heads, especially when they make videos just shaming us in every way possible. But they always want to shame us using 90 Day Fiance or that other show that's just like 90 Day Fiance, and it's just funny to me because of course these shows are televised on TV, so it's made to make men look bad and women look good in a sense. It's just how the media always portrays men and women nowadays. So please like subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that, and let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
On the internet today, and I can't help but see all the hard L's that all the passport bros are taking. And honestly, I'm not even the slightest bit surprised by this. You saw dude on 90 Day Fiance got flame roasted by his Filipino fiance for being fat and ugly.
You act like women here in the West are so nice and, don't shit on men on their looks, their height, and everything else. It's women nature, right? Women here are much more harsh. So a man in another taking that kind of same L in another country isn't a normal. This is a pretty normal thing for men to experience. So it's not a hard L, I believe, for passport bros.
Or the American dude who was arguing with the Middle Eastern woman. She was telling him the expectation is that the husband pays all the bills. And he rebutted with, well, in America, fam, you're not in America. That's why you went there.
She used the exact two clips that we always talk about that women really use that as an example of passport bros. That gentleman had no clue what was going on. I don't even think he was a passport bro. He was just like, oh, 90 Day Fiance, I'll be on this show. And it's their scripted television, women. Women. It is not a good depiction of real life in a sense. Most of it, anyways. But even then, yeah, they're not all men are good men, and not all men are gonna be able to know what the hell to do out there. We admit this. I admit this. But it's just so funny that these are the two examples that almost all women always want to use to shame passport bros and saying that we're losing. Remember, this is a TV show.
You wanted a traditional woman. And it's like, y'all really just don't get it. Every passport bro I know in the real world is an American bottom feeder in our dating pool, okay? He complains about gold diggers while he has no gold. He wants to escape the dating expectations of American women, but then complains about the marriage expectations of...
We're not complaining about the dating expectations in a sense. We're just complaining about the reciprocation of those expectations. Yeah, we know women nature is women nature. Most women from all other countries are going to be very similar in a sense of the things they want to be provided for and things like that. But they're able to reciprocate much better. They're more friendly. They're willing to, take care of the house, willing to do a lot of these things to help support the man to get these things. They compete, where women here have no clue how to compete.
Traditional foreign women. They want a woman who isn't ran through after they spent their whole life running through women. And I genuinely feel...
So yeah, you really only know the Chad and the Ray Rays and the Pookies then, because not all men are just running through women.
feel like I need to break this down for y'all. So let's go ahead and dive in real quick.
Okay,
Let's fall
please
down the
do.
rabbit hole that is the conundrum of passport bros. So traditional women come with traditional fathers or traditional brothers who will want to know why you feel entitled to a traditional woman whose culture you're not acclimated with and you can't uphold. And furthermore, they're going to want to know why you couldn't lead the women in your society down a traditionally virtuous path. Like,
No, they've seen the West. They've seen all the media. They've seen everything. They know women here are a certain way, and America's very liberal. They have all these rights, according to what you guys want, and they can do whatever they want. Other countries is just quite different.
you were okay with exploiting American women so long as it appeased your agenda. But at the end of the day, if the women here are ran through, it was you or your predecessors that ran through us. It was y'all that led us here. So you've already shown them, culturally speaking, you lack the ability to be the...
No, it's promiscuous because women are promiscuous here. That's the big difference. Remember, women are the gatekeepers of sex. If a woman is ran through, it's because she let men run through them. Men didn't just force their way through. That's just not how it really works. Maybe a very small percentage, but remember, you gotta let these men run through you. And there's plenty of men that don't do this. Plenty. There's way more men that have not ran through women than there is men that have ran through women. So this is like the generalization that's always false. Men out here aren't just slinging dick the way you think it are, but the men that you seem to want are. So you always want to assume that those are all men.
The strong alpha male leader that you want to be treated as such. Now, let's say you don't go to a religious or culturally traditional society. You go somewhere economically desolate to find someone more submissive.
Oh,
Understand these
of
women are
course.
using your ideology against you, and rightfully so, because you were trying to manipulate them into submission. Y'all think you can exploit these countries that have these gorgeous young women.
We don't trick anybody into submission. We don't. Submission is a willing party. These women have to want to submit to these men. And they have to want to submit to us. If they don't want to, they don't have to, and they can go with someone else. But if they're choosing to submit, it's their choice. Just like women here choose not to submit, so men rather just go to somewhere where women are willing to. Remember, submitting is you're willing to let these men lead. You trust these men enough to give them that kind of power over you in a sense.
That are open to pursuing American men, but typically you're choosing countries that rely upon tourism to substantiate their economy, which means she likely works at a resort or prostitutes, or in most cases, both. So not only is she not traditional,
So all women from foreign countries that are desolate countries are all prostitutes. Did I just hear that right? I mean, do you know what America is? You know how many girls have OnlyFans? You know how many girls, shake their butts on Instagram and, get money from men? What do you call that?
she's playing on your desire to find such. And when you agree to marry or sponsor a foreigner legally, you're obligated to support them for 10 years, contrary to the relationship. So, yeah, she's using you. She'd be a fool not to.
What do women don't use men here? Like, we hear plenty of times men are just walking wallets. Oh, you got to pay for this, you got to pay for that. What do you contribute? I am the table.
Let's just be for real here. One, American women don't give a fuck about you leaving to find love. You're
Yet you make a video, a 4-minute video, kind of fully explaining passport bros, or in your mind, and shaming passport bros for like 3 minutes of it, and then using 1 minute to use 90 Day Fiance as like, oh, we're down bad.
not going to put us in competition with foreign women for American bottom feeders. We're not jealous of them. In honesty, we pity them, but I
You
also
don't pity
empathize with
anybody.
them because if I was in the similar plight or predicament, I would probably do the same. Number two, traditional women will ultimately not work out for primarily one of two reasons. Number one, you can't acclimate to their culture and be a traditional man. Or number two, they adapt to ours and realize that you are a bottom feeder.
Oh, so you admit that women will have to acclimate to the United States, and when they do, they don't turn traditional anymore. This is exactly why passport bros don't bring women back, and I think men are fine to acclimate to these cultures. A lot of cultures are pretty okay. There's a lot more Americanized than you think, especially Asian countries. They have, again, like you say, a lot of tourists, so they kind of understand how things work a little bit slightly different, and they're willing to work with it. Again, willing to work with it.
And eventually leave you. Number three, preying on women whose country suffers financial hardship is a surefire way to.
No country is really suffering financial hardship. Most of these Asian countries were ruled by European, French, Spanish countries. Why did they rule these countries in the first place? Because they had resources and they were resource rich countries. That's why. So really, these countries aren't really desolate like the way you think it is. And the reason if they are slightly worse off than the United States or, the West is because a lot of resources were taken away. They were ruled by, Spain, Philippines was ruled by Spaniards for a very long time. My country was ruled by French for a very long time. Vietnam has been ruled by French for a very long time. This is just how these countries got, into the light in a sense, but they're not desolate countries. They're thriving economies. Except for maybe my country, Cambodia is not the most thriving of countries, but that's a different topic.
Get preyed on yourself. And to be honest, you deserve that. To think that you can indenture a woman into submission is pathetic. And I can guarantee she's got the drop on your play and she's been working you from the jump. Even third world countries have better educational systems than America does.
Oh, so you admit this, but you said they were uneducated prostitutes earlier. You just literally contradicted yourself in this one whole video.
And foreign women are not riddled with feminist rhetoric. They're completely okay with saying that you have to pay for everything because that's how they were raised. Love only works when it happens organically with good intention. If you want a better quality of woman, be a better quality of man. But complaining about what you
I'll agree with that one.
attract here in America and thinking you can fool a foreigner into seeing past your subpar placement and natural selection. Wild. Go on the internet today.
Dude, the hypocrisy. I think you're the one that has the subpar placement in the world. Western women are on the bottom of the barrel of all men. Men do not see Western women as wife material. That's just exactly how it is. So who's really bottom of the barrel here, girl? And these are the women you're competing against. Look how friendly they look. Look how fit they are. Look how modestly they're dressed. Look at their hair. Maybe one has long nails, but they have very modest nails. Very modest makeup. There's maybe one or two that have like a decent amount of makeup, but a lot of them actually look pretty natural. So this is what globalization has done. It's showed men that there's women like this out there. How's that, Chow? I know I paused a lot, but just having to counter every point she makes is just kind of fun for me. Oh, women. It's because they don't want to compete. They know they can't compete. This is why they gotta shame men and shame other women to stay or be with them, even though they say they pity us, or because we're bottom of the barrel. If we're bottom of the barrel, why'd you make a 4-minute video? Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.